Hello heart seekers and nature lovers. Welcome to Miss Kiani. I'm Karen Weinman, a Pampamesayoq who has been working with the sacred medicine of the Andes Mountains of Peru. And welcome to my next video about Ayni. If this topic has been tickling you, I hope that you were notified because you've subscribed to my channel and so are getting this next topic. Ayni is absolutely central to the Andean tradition, and it's a good place to begin waking up and being conscious of our every moment. Ayni is a Quechua word. It means reciprocity. Now, as I mentioned in my very first introductory video, we think of Ayni as like karma, yeah. So what we put out there comes back to us. And Ayni, there is no negativity in Ayni. Ayni is just about what I give out will keep the flow going and will come back to me, and that there is always a flow. We don't have an English word for Ayni, but I can describe it, as I'm going to do in this video, in a few sentences and in some examples of what Ayni is about. And when you hear what Ayni is about, it's a bit of a wake-up call, because we in the West do not understand this at all. Maybe as we start to grow up, we start to realize that that what we give out will come back to us. But that's the closest we get to Ayni. Because Ayni is always about saying thank you. It is about honoring. It is about being conscious of what we're putting out there, because in some way it will come back to us. Now, when we put this out there, I don't just mean human to human. It's not just the way I treat another human being or a fellow brother and a sister. It is also how I treat nature. It is also how I treat the elements, how I treat the air that I breathe, the water that I drink, right? It is how I treat the earth that I walk on. It is about saying thank you. When Pachamama gives me such abundance every day, and I do not take it for granted, I say thank you because she feeds me with luscious food 3 times a day. Yes, she brings me water, whether that comes from a tap or whether it comes from a stream. She brings me water. It keeps me alive. Yes. She brings me an abundance, not only of what I need, like a soft bed to sleep on at night, but she may bring me wealth. She'll bring me money, because in this reality we need money to survive. It is the way our Western world ticks at the moment, and that may change with the times that come, but we have to remember to say thank you for this abundance and not take it for granted. And then, of course, when we are saying thank you, it is also to honor. It is also to honor Pachamama, because I can give you a fabulous example of this. When you're with the Keros high in the mountains and you stop to have lunch or dinner, some of that food is dished up on a plate and put outside or put aside especially for Pachamama. There are things that we eat and then we give it back to Pachamama. Yes, there is always this giving to her, saying thank you to her, if not giving to her first before ourselves, because she gave to us and we give to her. And not only to say thank you, but in the very act of giving back to her, we are keeping Ayni going. There is a flow, and so we have to keep the flow going. Yes, and that is why there aren't negative elements to Ayni. It's not about karma. It is about being conscious about how we treat our fellow human beings, of course. It is about how we treat nature. It is about how we contaminate water. It is about how destructive we are. It is about how when we burn things that are chemical, that we are damaging the air. And we forget that air is breathed in by the trees. It goes through the roots into the earth, and then we plant our vegetables in it, and we get those contaminants back through eating. Yes, everything is connected. Everything. So it's about, obviously I focus on the quality of love and peace that I'm putting out. but being aware that no matter what quality I am putting out, it will be returned to me. Yes, it's not a directed return, it's just that I am one energy field. I am part of all of life. Yes, and so whatever I put into that energy field, I'm going to have to live with. And as we're starting to see on the planet, as we are contaminating and destroying and thinking that we survive on our own 2 feet and we are separate and we can do what we want and we can get away with it, it is catching up with us. You're starting to see how this is not working anymore. Yes? Right? How the sea is starting to be polluted so badly that fish are being caught with nets inside of them and plastic inside of them, and we can't eat that. Right? Salmon contaminated with mercury and all kinds of metals. All right, a lot of vegetables being full of chemicals, and most of those chemicals are insecticides. But we don't stop to think that when we're in an aeroplane flying in the air, that is giving off pollution. That pollution lands on the trees and goes into the earth. Everything is connected. Yes. So Ayni asks of us to be as conscious as we can all the time of what are we putting out, how are we treating the world, how are we treating every element that is around us, every single element, whether that element is something tangible like an animal, like a human being, like a building, like the earth, or whether that element is a traditional element like earth, air, fire or water. Just because it's invisible does not mean that there is not an impact on it. Yes? And so when we start to work with elements in the workshops, like the Earth Within, like Pachamama workshops, with any of the elements, some of the 2nd and 3rd years of the Paco program start to work with the elements. We've got to begin by honoring, because we don't stop to think about honoring the elements. We just accept that they are there. We take them for granted. Yes? We have to start building Ayni. And so there are many practices and ceremonies that are done in this tradition where we say thank you, where we keep the Ayni flowing between all of life. We constantly keep it flowing so there are no blockages and no resistance. And not only in that ceremony, but so we keep it flowing through our bodies, so we keep it flowing through the Kai Pacha, through the physical reality that we work with, that we keep it flowing through all the 3 worlds, the upper, middle and lower worlds, that we keep it flowing through our power centers, and that we welcome power in. There is flow everywhere, all the time. And working with the elements is a way of working in Ayni. So we begin to remember the earth that is in our bodies. We begin to remember the earth that is outside of our bodies, and we connect them and we get the flow going so that we build Ayni with the elements of earth. And when we work with water, we say thank you to the water. Yes, we honor it. Without it, we would not survive. In fact, no life would survive. It was the first element that ever came to this planet. Yes, we have to say thank you for the life that it brings, and that Pachamama holds the container for it. So we say thank you to the water, and you remember the water within us. And this is why the Earth Within workshop, where we work with the elements and we dance and embody that quality into us, is such a life-changing workshop, because we are honoring what is within us. We honor all the elements in us, and in honoring it, we get the flow of Ayni going again. And a lot of people start to feel connected, and that beautiful belonging of being part of nature in every aspect. And it cannot be understood with your mind. Yes, Claro's always talk about how Westerners are just heads floating around the planet. We are not fully in our bodies. We are not fully present with all of the beautiful elements and the qualities that are out there. We have forgotten Ayni. Yes. And so when we start working with the elements on the outside and within us, we start to travel from our heads to our hearts, but into our bodies. We start to really be grounded and present and grateful to be here in this life, to do all that we can to keep the Ayni flowing. It's why we've come here, to keep the Ayni flowing. So it is a very, very important and life-giving quality, this Ayni. And with time, if we do not honor it, life will come to a stop. So, I hope I've given you something to think about. What is Ayni in your life? Where are you practicing it? Where are you keeping the flow going? If you feel that you want to learn more about getting the elements to come through your body with these ancient practices, then please click on the links that I will put below and go and look at the workshops that are on offer. Yes, I've also written blogs on this. There's a lot of information out there. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I will respond. And if this has really interested you, please subscribe to my channel so we stay in touch. And I welcome you to a world of Ayni within all of nature. It is so beautiful.